know comes to you for help because they're struggling with something in their lives, or they're hurting or in pain in some way, it's natural to want to try to help them as quickly and efficiently as possible. I mean, you don't want them to be struggling or in pain. And so we learned some ways of giving people kind of quick fixes, like giving them advice or entering into a kind of a problem-solving mode with them. And because everybody learns to do this, one of the first instructions that I give to people when I'm teaching them how to be counselors is, don't fix anything. It's an instruction that helps people to deliberately thwart the impulse to give advice or solve problems. Now, why would I tell people to do this? It's because human beings and human problems are complex. People are complex ecologies. And so the ways to work with their struggles are different than the ways that you would work if you were solving an architectural or mechanical engineering kind of problem. We're not like blocks that get stacked together and you just have to figure out the math for what kind of load bearing the stones can handle. We are these rich ecologies that fit together in surprising ways. So let me give you a simple example of this. If someone is in pain, maybe crying about something, you might want to offer them reassurance. Let them know it's okay, it's going to get better, it won't always be like this, or you're fine, you're all right. And we do this with children too. It's a natural way to try to want to make people feel better when they're feeling something that's painful. But when we do that, we stop them from feeling what they're feeling. And there's a process of healing that requires those feelings to keep moving. So sometimes in our efforts to help people feel better immediately, we interrupt a process that needs to happen to help them feel better in a more persistent, holistic way. There's something akin to that happens when you try to solve someone's problem. It's like the problem that they have is a process trying to happen in the same way that somebody crying is grieving happening, trying to happen. And so your goal is to find a way to allow that to happen. If you assume that the problems that people have are just the right problems for them, they're just perfect expressions of how that person has come to understand themselves in the world, then they become really rich sources of learning and growth and healing if you can figure out how to help people deepen their relationships with the problem. It's different than a surface level solution. So, a couple examples. Say somebody comes to you because they're procrastinating. They just can't get the work done or the things done that they're supposed to get done. They notice they put them off all the time. They use all kinds of strategies for putting things off, and they are coming asking for your advice. Well, you could give them advice. I mean, you might help them learn a time management strategy. This is the kind of thing that coaches often do. Or come up with a set of realizable goals that are small enough for them to handle so they don't get so overwhelmed. And those might be very helpful solutions, but you've been tricked if you give them those solutions. You've been tricked into believing that the person is actually procrastinating, and that isn't really true. It's just their way of making sense of events. Their whole way of organizing their relationship with work and non-work, with the things that they want and the things that they don't want to do, with shoulds and obligations and their sense of what it means to be a person. All that has conspired to create a circumstance in which they are trying to do something that they don't want to do. They want to do something else, they think they should, and they call it procrastination. And you've just bought into the entire system. It's like Einstein said, you can't solve a problem using the same kinds of thinking that created the problem. So you need a different kind of thinking. You need to enter into an inquiry with this person into what is the nature of should, or what is the nature of what the thing is that they really wish they could be doing instead of the thing they think they're supposed to be doing. And if you go deep enough into this, they start to restructure their whole experience of life. And then it's not that they no longer procrastinate, it's that procrastination kind of just evaporates. It's like they don't think of it that way anymore. They have a new way of making sense of themselves, and something different and unpredictable emerges as a result. Another example, let's say somebody comes to you because they've been drinking. And they know that they have trouble with alcohol. They can't moderate. They've tried to moderate, and they don't know whether they should stop. They really think that they should. They used to be sober, but they're no longer sober. And they want your help stopping drinking or learning to moderate or doing something like that. You don't want to get tricked into thinking that the problem is that they're drinking and that you should help them stop. Instead, you can explore it in all kinds of interesting ways. So you might sit down with them and say, okay, let's have a drink together, but don't actually have a drink. Just pretend to have a drink. Just have an imaginary drink together. and enter into the state of being that they enter into when they've been drinking a little, so that you can find out what it is that's so important for them about alcohol. It's giving them something that they really do need, that they probably don't get anywhere else in their lives. And if you can find a way to help them deepen their relationship with what is that they're getting through alcohol, then maybe they can start to get that in all kinds of other ways. And their relationship with alcohol just changes. You don't have to directly zero in and try to solve the problem. The problem just reorganizes itself as the person deepens their relationship with themselves. So, deepening your relationship with the problem is a better solution than solving the problem. And it's not direct. It's kind of tricky, around the side, looking at different dimensions of a person's experience. And it sometimes takes longer, but the results run much deeper. If all you've got available to you is problem solving and advice giving, it makes sense to utilize those as ways to try to help people. But we have something much better available to us. We have deepening our relationship with the problem. And the way to get yourself there is to spend time with someone continuing to investigate the experience that they're having without fixing